Hello, volleyball fans, and welcome to wherever you are. We're here at Jackson High School for tonight's Wesco 4A matchup between the Jackson Timberwolves and Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Should be a good one tonight. Jackson sitting on a 4-2 record, trying to keep themselves within reach of that first place spot in Wesco 4A, currently occupied by the Lake Stevens Vikings. Collection of teams trying to keep themselves in contention in case Lake Stevens stumbles. Glacier Peak trying to get themselves into that group. They're 3-3 after last week. Coming into tonight looking to make a little bit of a statement on the road against Jackson. Should be a very, very good night tonight. The experienced lineup of Jackson High School playing against what looks to be a fairly new lineup for Glacier Peak. One thing we know for sure at the libero spot for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, we've got Natalie Ayotte. That's a change from last week. Natalie, a sophomore, generally plays an outside hitter type of role. She's got a big arm swing and a big jump top spin serve. Tonight she'll be the libero defensive specialist playing across the back row. Not sure quite what else. Rumor has it that 6'5" middle hitter is going to be a 6'5" outside hitter, Lauren Sanders, tonight. The UW commit potentially moving around. We'll have all those answers for you coming up next on STSPN.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
All right, so not quite sure what we saw in the introductions there, a little bit scattered. We didn't quite, I don't think the announcer quite understood the position. So we'll wait till we get the players out on the floor to see what the lineups look like this evening. Regardless, it should be a pretty good one here tonight. Taking a look up on the rafters here at Jackson, the 2010 state champions. That team was coached by now Gonzaga University assistant coach Ashley Allen. Her sister Emmy Allen played for that team as well. That was not that long ago. Jackson High School looking to get back to those glory days, get back to that state championship and get themselves another banner for the wall. Glacier Peak, right about that same time frame, being a newer school, was making the playoffs for the very first time. So they're looking to get to state, get their name up on a wall, get a banner for their gym, and get things going in the right direction. So taking a quick look, if my eyes do not deceive me. If my eyes do not deceive me, we've got Lauren Sanders. It looks like she's going to line up and play the opposite, the right side. Taking a look over on the Jackson side, we've got a collection. Corinne Leon starting the game. Taking a look around, I don't see any other big changes. Lauren Dimmelin is your front row middle. Ciara Cho. Taylor Eastwood, your setter for Jackson. Your libero, the senior Savannah Horton. And senior Alex Crittenden is your other outside hitter. Got Sydney Peterson in the match for Glacier Peak. She had a good night against Kamiak last week. She's a middle blocker sophomore, 6-footer. In the middle of the front row, Maya Watkins and Lauren Michaels will be your outside hitter, with Sierra Pratt serving and setting for the Grizzlies, and we're underway. Eastwood outside for Cho, and she comes up just a bit short, looking for the roll block to go over the big hands on the right side of Sanders. Interesting strategy. You move that big blocker around and you match up against a team that's a little bit heavy playing through their outsides. Pratt misses just long there. You give that outside hitter something additional to think about, and that can be a very effective move. We'll see how it goes as the match goes on. Eastwood back to serve for Jackson. Michaels. In the middle, that's Peterson. Nice block by Dimmelin. Outside now for Sanders, over the top, dug by Crittenden. Eastwood outside, there's Cho, and the big block. That was all Sydney Peterson. As Cho tries to go cross court on her, she penetrated well and roofed that one straight down. Maya Watkins back to serve for the Grizzlies. Horton, Eastwood, back row, it's Cho, and that one was going to drop in. Watkins can't quite handle it, and Ciara Cho gets a kill early here after a couple misfires from the outside. She gets one out of the back row, or out of the right side, pardon me. She'll sub out in to serve for her number 13, Lauren Atwood. Played some good defense a couple weeks ago when we saw her at Kamiak. That 3-1 win for the Timberwolves was a big one early season. Lauren Sanders from the right side can be a very difficult matchup when all of a sudden you've got a big hammer on that right side pin. Your outside hitters usually aren't as dedicated a blocker as the right side is. You watch at the highest levels, the Olympic teams, you see oftentimes the best hitters hitting out of the right side. Service ace there. Beautiful serve from Peterson. Just catches the end line. Natalie Ayotte now. The jump top spin we saw last week against Kamiak. Rolls that one down the line, and that one's in as well. So a little bit of backline magic here early on for the Grizzlies. Atwood, Horton, and Crittenden is your serve receive. Woo! That one had some heat on it. Nice serve from Ayotte. Pair of aces early on for the sophomore. Horton. Tight set. Nice job dealing with it by Eastwood, and Dimmelin gets the kill as she hammers it down the block. Just didn't have quite enough penetration. That ball goes straight down on the Glacier Peak side. Savannah Horton back to serve for the Timberwolves. Pass from Michael into the middle. Pratt outside for Michael. Tip over the top. Dig by Crittenden. Out of system play. Just punched over by Haley Nelson. Into the middle, Paisley Johnson looking for the high hands, doesn't find them. And another point for the Timberwolves. Haley Nelson had a pretty good night against Kamiak a couple weeks ago, last time I saw this group too. She was big early on in the match, hitting out of that right side. Really made a statement. Beautiful pass from Lauren Michael. Sanders on the other side. She hits right over top of the block from Doffelmeyer and Crittenden, and that is difficult to defend. Sanders back to the service line. Eastwood, swing, dig by Ayotte. Pratt, outside, that's Michaels. Back, Horton will send the free ball. Here come the Grizzlies. Into the middle, Paisley Johnson tips it over the top and down. Smart play from the senior there. Good job playing that ball. DS Macy McQuarrie back into the back row for Glacier Peak alongside Ayotte, the libero. So sacrificing a little back row offense for some sure passing. Good serve from Sanders. Nice pass from Atwood. Outside Crittenden, dug by Ayotte. Pratt out of the back row. Sanders, and got the touch. It was going to miss, but Eastwood couldn't determine in time. Reached out and touched that one on its way out of play. And another kill for Sanders. And she'll get a service ace to go with that. That ball pops up off the tape. Drops just in bounds, and that brings an early timeout from head coach Mindy Staudinger and the Jackson Timberwolves. It's all Glacier Peak early here in set one. We'll be right back on STSPN.com.
It creates the ultimate outdoor protection system on batteries. The OMV is a totally wireless detector camera that can be installed anywhere without wires or power cables. When the motion sensor detects an intruder, the OMV sends video alerts of what caused the alarm to a central station for immediate review and dispatch. VideoFi delivers faster police response and protects remote assets by helping law enforcement catch the bad guy.
Welcome back inside Jackson High School. I'm Matty Bishop. This is STSPN.com. We've got Glacier Peak on top early here in set one. Coming off what was a somewhat disappointing performance against Kamiak last Thursday, the Grizzlies looking to make up for it tonight against the Jackson Timberwolves on the Timberwolves home court. So far, so good. Lauren Sanders, another good serve. Atwood, Doffelmeyer in the middle, and a net violation called. And I think they're going to get Paisley Johnson on that one. Is how do you number out the 18 on your fingers? I'm not exactly sure. Looked a little strange, so we're going to assume it was number 18, the middle Johnson. In to serve, Corinne Leon. Pratt setting her middle, Johnson tight. Doffelmeyer gets her hands on it. Eastwood outside now for Crittenden, off the block and out, and that's a kill for the senior outside hitter, Alex Crittenden. She's a captain on this squad, along with the libero, Savannah Horton. Alex also carries a 3.8 plus GPA. How's that for dedication from a student athlete? Leon will serve again for the Timberwolves. Ayat, Pratt, Sanders out of the back row. Hits that one a little bit, and it drifts just long. Leon continues to serve. You watch. That back row attack can be somewhat challenging. You have to ensure that you take off with your feet behind the 10-foot line for it to be legal. Sanders did a good job that last one, but it just didn't quite work out for her. Nice slide right around the backside for Millie Doffelmeyer. Beautiful set from Eastwood on the Jackson side, and suddenly the Timberwolves with some momentum. They're closing the early gap that Glacier Peak opened up. Grizzlies looking for a side out. Leon continues to serve. This one right between McQuarrie and Ayat. And Maya Watkins coming back into the match for Macy McQuarrie. She'll line up on the left side of the serve receive. Her and Ayat will share a seam. Sanders and Ayat a seam on the other side. Leon with the serve. Ayat puts that one up. Tough ball for Pratt. She gets to it again for Sanders out of the back. Easy roll shot over the top. Atwood. Woo, and that tip drops. That was Crittenden. Sorry, it was Atwood to Eastwood to Crittenden there. And Alex pulls up with the fingertips right over top of the block and right into the hole in the defense. And we're tied. Both teams with big runs here early. Maya Watkins struggles with that one a little bit. Michael over the top, dig Atwood, going for Doffelmeyer on that slide again, and instead she bumps it over. There was nowhere to go but right where she went, and nobody saw it coming. So Jackson's Millie Doffelmeyer turns trouble into a kill for the Timberwolves, and last 6 points or so, they could do no wrong. There's a good pass from Watkins. Outside for Lauren Michael, off the block, picked up. That ball's still in play. Free ball for the Timberwolves. Horton, Eastwood, outside for Crittenden. Dig Sanders. Pratt now. Ooh, that one's overset and out of play, and that's another point for Jackson. Good heads-up defense there from the Grizzlies as Lauren Michael hits that ball into the block, digs it up, they keep it alive, but at the end of the day, Jackson continues to serve. Corinne Leon working on Natalie Ayat. This ball 13 feet off the net. Big shot over the top, just long from Michael, and the Glacier Peak passing a little bit problematic for him here in this big run, and that'll lead to a timeout by the Grizzlies. Each team's taking one. We're going to take one too right here on STSPN.com.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome back inside Jackson High School. We're getting about to the halfway point here in set number one, and it's been a pair of runs. Right now, the one that's important, Corinne Leon at the service line. She's doing some damage for the Jackson Timberwolves. Glacier Peak not doing themselves any favors as they're struggling to get a pass up to a usable spot in front of the 10-foot line. Watkins, not bad there. Up in the middle, Paisley Johnson tips over the top. Dig Crittenden, but it falls. Nice off-speed play from Johnson. She drops that ball so that it falls right on top of the blocker as they're falling back to the ground. That's a difficult dig to make. That'll bring Lauren Michael back to serve. Senior outside hitter for the Grizzlies. Atwood, Eastwood, Doffelmeyer on that slide again, and Sanders can't come up with it. We didn't see a lot of that against Kamiak 2 weeks ago. This looks like something they've been working on in the Jackson camp, and Millie Doffelmeyer with a couple kills off that fast slide. Paisley Johnson keeps that ball in play. Free ball from Pratt. Leon. This ball's going outside. Ciara Cho tips into the middle. Nice up from Michael. Pratt keeps it alive. Free ball from Sanders. Crittenden. Oh, Eastwood saw nobody was looking. Caught the blockers unaware. Goes up and gets the kill to get herself on the scoreboard tonight. Setters like to score points too. Alex Crittenden at the service line for the Timberwolves. Maya Watkins popped this one up. Pratt bump set. Watkins from the outside pushes it right past the block and down. Smart little half swing there from Watkins is rather than try and power it through the established block, she just slapped the ball into a hole for the easy point. Paisley Johnson will serve for the Grizzlies. Leon, tough pass for Eastwood. Nice bump set. Right side, Doffelmeyer off the block of Peterson. Picked up by Pratt. Peterson goes up off the block of Doffelmeyer. Picked up by Ciara Cho. Back out to Cho through the block. Dug up by Paisley Johnson. Doffelmeyer in the middle. Overfeeds that one. Eastwood tries to pick it up. Good hustle play from Leon, but that one falls. Bit of a crazy rally, and Glacier Peak comes up with the point. Starting to look like anything could happen here tonight. And we've seen a little bit of everything happen. Paisley Johnson continues at the service line for the Grizzlies. A little bit of top spin, good pass from Leon. Outside, there's Cho, tip into the antenna. If any part of the ball touches any part of the antenna, touches or travels over, I should say, any part of the antenna, that ball is out of play, and that is a point for the Grizzlies. Crittenden, good pass outside for Eastwood. Cho swings it through, and Glacier Peak can't come up with that one. Ciara Cho was our adrenaline fundraising player of the match in the Kamiak match a couple weeks ago because of kills like that when they really mattered under pressure. Millie Doffelmeyer back to serve for the Timberwolves. Ayat, good pass for Pratt. Up in the middle, there's Peterson, and oh my, Sydney Peterson gets up and just hangs there for a second and then does the work, hammering that ball to the ground, the sophomore. Pratt popped up by Leon. Bump set from Crittenden. Cho through the block, and Pratt can't come up with it. Ciara Cho makes something out of nothing there. Good job by Alex Crittenden to put that ball out where our outside hitter can use it. It's what you want to do most times when your team's in trouble or out of system. Brings Eastwood back to the service line. Jackson holding on to the slimmest of leads here in set one. Sanders, power tip down the line, dug by Eastwood. Horton, bump set for Crittenden out of the back, rolled over the top. Nice job getting it up by Michael, and it's Dimmelin who puts it down for the Timberwolves. So Lauren Michael gets under it, does a nice job picking up the ball, but the overfeed turns into an easy kill for Lauren Dimmelin, and she's a 6'2 middle. She's a junior for Jackson. One more year of her and Eastwood working together is going to be cool. Taylor Eastwood serves that one just long. She's a junior as well, 5'9 setter, who's been very impressive here for Jackson in the early season. Maya Watkins to serve for the Grizzlies. Horton, tough, tight serve, and that's, ooh. We're going to get an illegal block against Eastwood, although the question becomes, did the ball break the plane of the net? Mindy Staudinger all over that one. Lauren Michael went up, penetrated like you're supposed to when you're blocking, but you're not allowed to do that if the setter is trying to play that ball over. The official's somehow, some way not going to have his mind swaying, go figure. Looked from this angle like Staudinger might have had a point, but the Grizzlies end up with a point. Maya Watkins with a tough serve right on that whistle as they beckon, and she ties it up with another Grizzlies point. Down the line, serving tough on Cho. Sanders dug by Horton. Eastwood runs it down into the middle. Crittenden gives the free ball. Ayat. Pratt. Right side Sanders off the top of the block. Eastwood. Horton bump set. for Cho, and she misfires into the net. Glacier Peak back in the lead. Maya Watkins doing the work at the service line. Working right down to Sierra Cho. As a young hitter, you want to serve where there's movement. The setter running around the outside hitter, and that rotation one can be very difficult with a fast or a slow ball in that case coming right down the line at you. And Coach Staudinger wants to talk about it a little bit, see if they can figure out this serve receive. Was not a timeout. Okay. We got a signal from the official that it was a timeout, but now apparently it's not. It's a substitution, and we see the freshman Paige Wilson check into the match. She's swinging up from JV tonight, getting an opportunity to play here. Watkins at the service line goes right after her. Eastwood keeps it alive. Wilson can't get it over. So you have the ability to shift that serve receive. It's oftentimes not ideal, but you can pull your right side hitter back or your middle and push your outside hitter forward. Watkins changes it up just a little. Crittenden with the good pass. Outside now. Ooh, off the block and picked up. Eastwood tries to get Pratt, and it is out of play just a little too long. Sierra Pratt, great play, knowing where that sideline was. Now we see the timeout. Glacier Peak in command here towards the end of set one. We'll be right back on STSPN.com. Welcome back inside Jackson High School. Maya Watkins at the service line for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, trying to put away set number one here. Jackson has used their second timeout. Ciara Cho checks back into the match, taking the place of the freshman Wilson. Still working out of that serve receive number one with the setter in the right back position behind the outside hitter on the right side out of zone one. And Watkins continues to go after him. That time she misses. And Jackson with a chance to earn some of these points back here. You'll have Lauren Michael, Natalie Ayat, and Maya Watkins in your serve receive passing. Your hitters, Peterson, Sanders, and Michael across the front row. Sierra Pratt is your setter for the Grizzlies. Ayat, good pass for Pratt. Here comes Sanders off the right side, off the block, picked up by Eastwood. Horton pushes it out to the right side, and that ball's through and down. Haley Nelson has a good time to come up with your first kill of the match. Sanders just falling into the middle a little bit, misread that one as it pops off the tape a little bit and out to the outside. Lauren Atwood in to serve, Natalie Ayat. Pratt into the middle for Peterson, and Sydney Peterson. Another big swing from her. Ayat back to the service line, the libero will serve. Paisley Johnson comes back in to take the place of Peterson across the front row. Jump top spin. Nice pass from Atwood. Eastwood, Crittenden, picked up by Watkins, and Glacier Peak can't control it in three contacts. They get it over, but it took four, and that's illegal. Jackson will get the serve. 21 serving 23, hanging on for their life here with the senior Savannah Horton at the service line for the T-Wolves. Maya Watkins, that ball's 18 feet deep. Good bump set from Natalie Ayat. That ball pounded into the tape and down. They'll give Dofelmeyer the block, a combination of Dofelmeyer and Nelson. I'm not sure either one touched it, to be perfectly honest. Horton played very, very well against Kamiak last time I saw the Timberwolves. You may have seen them since then. Lauren Michael, Pratt, right side for Sanders, roll over the top, good dig from Atwood. Eastwood puts it up right side. Nelson dug overfeed by Ayat. Dofelmeyer. Watkins keeps it off the floor. Dofelmeyer touches it, pops it off the hands of Atwood, and the miscommunication brings up match point for the Grizzlies with Lauren Sanders at the service line for Glacier Peak. And that ball is too much for Atwood to handle. Sanders finishes off set 1 with an ace, and it's the Grizzlies 1, the T-Wolves 0 at Jackson High School. I'm Matty Bishop. This is STSPN.com. Something tells me we got a lot more volleyball coming tonight. Be back in about 2.5 minutes for set number 2. Welcome back inside Jackson High School. We're just about ready for set number 2 here on STSPN.com. Pretty good one there through the first set, right down to the wire. Glacier Peak pulls away at the end, gets, I believe, is a 25-22 win on that one. Taking a look to see if we see any changes. I do not see any from the Grizzlies. Oh, I do. No, I don't. No changes from the Grizzlies. It was Sydney Peterson who impressed. Lauren Sanders, couple great swings and some tough serving. Maya Watkins did some good work from the service line as well. Sydney Peterson, that is an explosive young lady. She hit a couple balls real hard. Going to be Taylor Eastwood who starts us off for Jackson High School. Hannah Neal into the match to play right side. Ciara Cho and Lauren Demelin are your front row attackers. Eastwood misses on that one. The Grizzlies, Sierra Pratt will serve. Lefty drops that ball into the libero Horton. Tight stuff in the middle, and that ball comes off the hands of Peterson and down on the Glacier Peak side. A Glacier Peak block was well formed and up early. Demelin with a great play just to pop it off that outside hand and drop it. Lauren Atwood into the match for Cho. She'll serve for the Timberwolves. Maya Watkins pops that one up. Back to the right side for Watkins, and she rolls that ball up over the right side and just over top of Neal, who can't control it. Maya Watkins, maybe a little bit of a beach shot there. Just maybe. Very accomplished beach player. She's back at the service line again. Crittenden, tough pass. Neal picks it up out of system. Back for Crittenden, and that's Lauren Sanders who says absolutely not. Not a lot of room to work around a big block like the one that Sanders and Peterson are putting up. You really have to be precise with your placement. Crittenden, nice job picking it up by Eastwood. Free ball from Horton. Ayat, Pratt, Michael up over the top and out. Lauren Michael misfires. Savannah Horton back to the service line. Lauren Michael, great pass for Pratt. Right side for Sanders, and she was just a touch far off the net, about 6 feet off, and she tried to hit it straight down. That she did, but it was into the net. Horton will continue to serve for the Timberwolves. Oh, she floats that one just wide, trying to work on the senior Lauren Michael. Oftentimes you'll see that. Teams will try and make a front row outside hitter pass the ball. Just interrupts the rhythm to get to that left pin. Natalie Ayat to serve for the Grizzlies, and a service ace. Big one into the middle. Atwood and Horton collide, and Ayat track that ball down and take it back to the service line with her. Ayat again, Horton gets under it. Eastwood runs it down. Crittenden might as well have been out of the back row. Dig from Watkins. That ball's up in the middle. Nice play from Michael to put it over, keep him under pressure. Outside to Crittenden, and Lauren Sanders again says no. Alex Crittenden's going to have to find a way around that big block of Sanders, and we talked about it early. You put that big block out on the right side in front of an outside hitter who's not used to it, and it can cause havoc. Horton pushes this ball up on the right sideline. Hannah Neal with the swing. Again the block, that time Johnson and Michael. Outside Crittenden rolls it across. Michael picks it up. Pratt into the middle. Paisley Johnson off the block of Doffelmeyer. Picked up by Michael. Michael gets a swing, and it's Millie Doffelmeyer again with Hannah Neal next to her. All of a sudden the blocking game for both teams is picked up and looking really sharp here in set two. Corinne Leone in to serve for Jackson. Sophomore defensive specialist. She's been good at the service line the last couple times we've seen her. Great pass from Maya Watkins. Right side, Lauren Sanders. Oh my gosh. Well, when you've got a hitter who can do that, you can set her right on top of the antenna. She will jump over the antenna and hit it down to the floor very hard and very fast. That was impressive. Sanders with the serve down the right line for the ace. Atwood thought it was going to drift out. It did not, and Glacier Peak opening up a little bit of a gap here in set two. They did the same in set one. Jackson fought back, evened it up, and the two teams matched scoring streaks down the line. This time Atwood with a great pass for Eastwood. Outside Crittenden off the block. What a pickup by Sanders, and Michael just lost track of where the ball was as she tried to navigate not running into the officiating stand. Alex Crittenden back to the service line. Ciara Cho into the front row along with Eastwood and Doffelmeyer. Beautiful pass straight up in the middle, and Johnson, what a swing from Paisley Johnson. Leone gets the hands up just in time to save the prettier. She was going to pass that one with her nose, but she can't control it, keep it in the air, and a great swing. Good connection out of the middle there for Johnson. Lauren Michael to the service line for the Grizzlies. Crittenden, Eastwood, Cho, big swing over the top. Dig from Watkins, I believe. Look at that tip picked up by Watkins. Doffelmeyer, Eastwood, backs up for Cho. Ayat picks that one up. Big swing from Ciara Cho. And Watkins rolls that ball over the top and drops it into the corner. So the defense of Glacier Peak pays huge dividends. A couple big digs there, and then Maya Watkins turns that angle of contact just a bit to guide that ball down the line. It finds the end line and puts a point on the board for the Grizzlies. Good serve to Crittenden. Leone bump set looking for Doffelmeyer. She just pushes it straight at Sanders. Pratt. Sanders out of the back row. I don't think she touched it, and the official agrees. Doffelmeyer was there, but the ball didn't clear the tape, and that's a misfire from the Grizzlies. Millie Doffelmeyer back to serve for the T-Wolves. Sanders backing away from that one. Misses the pass, and want to be really aggressive with your platform, or you're a young passer. You want to build that platform and take it to the ball. Intercept the serve with the angle. Often going to get in trouble if you're moving away from the ball while you're passing. This one's passed outside the court. Sanders anyway. Dimmelin gets up, gets her hands on it. This ball outside for Watkins. This time Leon has that corner covered. Right side for Cho. Over the top, dig Ayat. Pratt up in the middle for Johnson, and it's down and in, and it doesn't matter anyway. There was a net violation on Dimmelin, but a great angle, a great swing from Paisley Johnson as she gets robbed of the kill by the net violation call there. Sometimes coaches will give that one anyway when they report the stats at the end of the night. Johnson, serve now for Leon. Eastwood gets her hands on it outside for Cho, and she gets that high point of contact, but hits it just long. Can't find a blocker to touch it for her, and Glacier Peak on a roll here. Johnson at the service line. Leon, bump set from Eastwood, outside for Cho, this time the tip. She gets the point there as a couple big swings in a row had the defense on its heels. She goes up and just pops that ball right over the top of the block into the hole. Only defense you have against that is for your back row to see it really early. Eastwood, Michael, Pratt, double contact called, and Jackson with Taylor Eastwood at the service line looking to make up some of the early deficit here. Not insurmountable by any means at a 9-12, but Glacier Peak has certainly looked the more aggressive of the two teams here early. That's Peterson off the block of Dimmelin, picked up by Cho, and I thought that was going to be whistled a double contact as well. It was not, but Hannah Neal misfires on the swing, and Glacier Peak gets the point regardless. Sierra Pratt back to the service line for the Grizzlies. Horton, great pass for Eastwood, picks it up. Cho out the right side, dug by Michael. Pratt runs it down right side for Sanders, 12 feet off. She rolls it over the top, dig Horton. Up in the middle now, there's Dimmelin, and it's Sanders and Peterson shutting it down. That's a very, very impressive block that Glacier Peak has put up there. The lineup change coming in tonight looks to be a brilliant move so far from Coach Chris Pratt. Nice dig from Lauren Michael there. This ball outside for Watkins. She hammers up, dig Crittenden. Eastwood runs it down. Cho pushes it deep. Ayat's got that covered. The backboard's in the way, but Watkins figures it out. Free ball from Peterson. Horton. Eastwood back looking for, that was Neal. Sorry, that wasn't Neal. That was Nelson. Dig by Cho there off the tip from Peterson. Haley Nelson over the top, dig Ayat. Pratt. Up, there's Watkins, drops it down in front of Horton. Maya Watkins with the kill. Glacier Peak scoring their points in bunches here. Jackson has to figure out a way to A, get around that block, and B, shut down some of this momentum. A very good front row for Glacier Peak right now as we see the serve misses just long. But with Watkins, Peterson, and Sanders across the front, there's not a good answer as far as who do we leave off the priority list when we get our block up. Everybody's got to be a priority there. Lauren Atwood into serve for the Timberwolves. She goes after Watkins. Pratt up in the middle, and it's Ayat. She's not allowed to contact the ball above the height of the net, or attack the ball above the height of the net, I should say. That certainly looked like it was. Sanders just misses with that one. Missed by about 1.5 inches. So oftentimes you will see that, well, not oftentimes, you shouldn't see that libero used as an attacking option like that. If she makes contact below the height of the net, that's good to go. If not, it's not. Maya Watkins from the right side, and a little miscommunication between Eastwood and Horton. Watkins with another kill. She's having herself a good night here for the Grizzlies. Paisley Johnson into the match. Watkins serves, Crittenden. Back set away from Sanders. Ayotte digs it, not sure if she thought there was a touch there. Roll shot over the top from Michael. Dig Horton now into the middle. Dimmelin, nice play. Beautiful set from Eastwood. Great reach, great command to that point of contact from Dimmelin. That ball finds the floor. Very well done there from the Jackson Timberwolves. The senior Horton at the service line. Michael. Pratt back outside for Michael, and she hammers that one down. Sometimes it's just that easy. Looked like a beach doubles match there for a second. Beautiful pass from Michael. Easy set right back to her. Something is funky with the Glacier Peak rotation. Something just does not look right there. Natalie Ayotte misses the serve. That'll bring Corinne Leon in to serve for Jackson. Set number 2, Glacier Peak took the first set. They look much improved after what was a tough loss to Kamiak last week. They fought very hard. They look like a much better team tonight. Eastwood right side for Doffelmeyer, and that one's blown for a double contact. It's signaled to be a lift. Okay. 2 ways you can call a fault on a setter. Either it's a double contact, meaning it touches one hand then the other, or it is a lift call, which used to be called prolonged contact, although I believe now the rule book reads catch and throw. Horton sends a free ball for the Grizzlies. Watkins, perfect pass for Pratt, outside for Michael, and that one's too hot for Atwood to handle. Big swing from Lauren Michael. Not sure if it got a touch or not. Neither was Lauren Atwood. She reaches out, tries to dig it, and it's out of play. Nice job by the senior there for Glacier Peak. Lauren Sanders, speaking of seniors for Glacier Peak, back to serve. She'll be at University of Washington next year. Tough serve. Leon runs it down. Horton sends the free ball. Watkins, Pratt, quick in the middle for Johnson. Dig Horton back over. Another one for Glacier Peak. Back right side out of the back row, Sanders. That ball gets just behind her, and she can't drive it down to the ground. She ends up hitting a low flat ball that travels past the end line. Ciara Cho returns to the match for the Timberwolves. Alex Crittenden at the service line. Sanders, Ayotte, and Watkins are your serve receive, and a service ace from the senior Crittenden. And she tries a little short deep routine, just barely too deep. She almost found the end line with that one. That would have been beautiful. But she doesn't. Lauren Michael back to serve for Glacier Peak. Doffelmeyer and Eastwood having a quick word there. And the serve right at Doffelmeyer. And that nice push set, just a little too tight to the net for Cho. So all the action, all the movement with Millie Doffelmeyer. Eastwood chooses to just try and push that, shoot that ball outside fast for Cho. They could probably run a little slower with Pratt in the front row, not having to deceive the big block of Sanders. Good swing there from Doffelmeyer. That ball swung up over the top and out, and Jackson with an opportunity to claw back into this one. Millie Doffelmeyer at the service line brings Lauren Dimmelin into the front row with Cho and Eastwood. Pass from Sanders is a perfect one. Right side, Paisley Johnson through the block, picked up by Crittenden. Doffelmeyer brings it back, little bit of confusion. Ciara Cho puts it over. Sanders outside from Pratt to Watkins, dug by Crittenden. Bump set from Doffelmeyer. Cho punches it over the top and misses. Point Glacier Peak. Very rarely at the higher level do you see that close-handed fist as you just punch the ball. You don't have a lot of control over it. You want to use an open hand tip or a little roll shot with the heel of the palm, maybe a pokey like a beach player would, but the fist got away from Ciara Cho there. The serve gets away from Paisley Johnson, and Jackson has an opportunity to fight their way back into this one with the setter Eastwood at the service line. She was very good against Kamiak when Jackson pulled off the 3-1 win at Kamiak from the service line. Lauren Michael, good pass for Pratt. Peterson just stretches out. Dig from Crittenden. Right side now, Haley Nelson, and she misfires. don't know that I can say enough good things about Sydney Peterson. I like the way this girl plays volleyball. Big, explosive, good jumper, powerful arm swing. What more could you ask for? Service ace for Sierra Pratt. And that is set point here in set number 2 for the Grizzlies, looking to take a commanding 2-0 lead. Pratt misses. Jackson with no room for error. Lauren Atwood, the lefty, will come in to serve for Ciara Cho. Good serve. Michael gets that ball up. Pratt pops it up for Watkins down the right side. It comes right back. Watkins with the dig. Pratt bumps it. Right side now for Sanders. She misfires. And Jackson still alive here in set number 2. Atwood. Watkins. Pratt runs it down. Sanders, tough angle. No call on the antenna. Crittenden against the big block of Peterson and Sanders. Still giving her trouble. Double contact called. That's the end of set number 2. Glacier Peak behind the huge block of Lauren Sanders and Sydney Peterson are up 2-0 here at Jackson High School. We'll be back on STSPN.com in just a moment with set number 3. Welcome back inside Jackson High School, where the visiting Glacier Peak Grizzlies are dominating here. They've got a 2-0 lead. It's the big block of Lauren Sanders and Sydney Peterson in the front row. Good consistent play from Maya Watkins, Lauren Michael. Paisley Johnson's been good. Sierra Pratt, it has been a team effort. Some lineup shake-up here for the Grizzlies, paying huge dividends in the first 2 sets. We'll see what head coach Mindy Staudinger got in store as Jackson comes back to try and get back into this match. Set number 3, and we will see Haley Pistol, number 15, check into the match, as well as Paige Wilson, number 10. She's back in, so the freshman Wilson's a freshman, Pistol's a sophomore. They're going to get some playing time. Lauren Dimmelin in. The setter Eastwood is still there. Corinne Leon in to help with the serve receive. And Sierra Pratt will serve to start set number 3 as Glacier Peak looks to put this one away. Get home to do their homework a little early tonight. Pratt, the lefty. Horton. Eastwood. Right side. Wilson misfires. Can't hurt to give a couple players from the JV squad who have been playing well a chance to swing up and do some good things here in an important 4A match. Haley Pistol can't control that one. Service ace for Sierra Pratt. Pistol again, and Pratt found the sophomore, just giving her some work now, trying to get her into that serve receive groove or take advantage of her until she finds it. Leon, Eastwood, right side for Wilson, over the top dig Michael. Pratt, right side Sanders, and that one's on the floor quickly. Lauren Sanders at a fast tempo, beautiful set from Sierra Pratt. Lauren Sanders gets that ball on the ground before the defense has a chance to react, and Glacier Peak, big run here to start set number 3. Pratt just misses to give Jackson the opportunity to get back to the service line. It's going to be Eastwood. Haley Nelson in. She's there with Wilson and Dimmelin in the front row. Haley Pistol and the senior libero Savannah Horton in the back row as well. Lauren Sanders up over the top. Pistol can't get under it. Despite the effort, it's a kill for Sanders. That'll bring senior outside hitter Maya Watkins back to serve for the Grizzlies. Watkins puts it on the freshman Wilson. Outside, Nelson, dug by Pratt. Bump set from Peterson, and under the net violation. There's really no reason for that. So the ball's hit 6 feet off the net into the deep court, and somebody got their foot across the center line under the net. Watkins will continue to serve. When it rains, it pours, both good and bad for the Jackson Timberwolves. Savannah Horton. Eastwood, nice set outside for Nelson, and Haley Nelson finds the floor, finds that seam between Ayat and Watkins. Paige Wilson will serve. Haley Pistol comes out. Alex Crittenden back in for the T-Wolves into the front row. Lauren Michael with the overfeed, and illegal lift call. I have no idea how you call a lift on that play. Could have seen a back row block called. Could have seen an illegal contact as the Jackson player penetrated over the net. Certainly didn't see a lift, but nonetheless, Natalie Ayot will get to serve for the Grizzlies. Horton. Eastwood, nice job popping it up for Nelson. That ball's picked up by Watkins outside for Michael, and she pounds it off the block and then off the antenna, and Glacier Peak. Lauren Michael, she's got a big arm swing, and when she uses it, good things tend to happen for the Grizzlies. Natalie Ayot with that big jump topspin at the service line, and that's a foot fault. So you cannot step on that service line. You can jump behind it and land on the other side of it after you have contact the ball. But if you step on it before you contact the ball, that is a violation, and that brings Savannah Horton back to serve. Watkins, Pratt, beautiful set outside for Michaels. Dig Horton. Eastwood, Crittenden off the block, dig Michaels. Tight one for Pratt. She brings it up for Sanders off the top of the block. Nice dig from Wilson. Right side, Nelson, Ayot, Pratt, Johnson pokes it over the top. Dig Crittenden. Eastwood showed it all the way. Pratt covers easy. Sanders sets, and he thought about it for a second, but that was a double contact. That ball did not come out clean from the hands of Sanders. Horton will continue to serve for the Timberwolves. Watkins, beautiful pass for Pratt. Right side for Sanders. Off the block of Doppelmayr and down to the floor. What a weapon. Not many like her in the country. Part of the women's junior national team this year. Very hard-working young lady, Lauren Sanders, reaping the rewards for a lot of that hard work. Nice dig from Maya Watkins. Sierra Pratt up in the middle for Johnson, who turns around, uses the slide footwork in front of her setter to get her hips around and scream that ball down inside of the sideline. Jackson just can't figure out how to attack this Glacier Peak team. Glacier Peak coming at him. Wilson puts her hands on a ball that likely would have been out. Free ball for the Grizzlies again. Ayat. Big outside, Lauren Michael pounds and gets it. And that one's judged to have been in. Couldn't see it from where I'm at. We'll take their word for it. Lauren Sanders at the service line. That one is not in. And Corinne Leone comes in for the Jackson Timberwolves, who do not, to their credit, they do not look like the same team that played extremely well against Kamiak 2 weeks ago. Great pass from Ayat. Up in the middle, Johnson gets up. Nice job by Wilson getting under it. At Crittenden. Oh, it's the block of Paisley Johnson. She goes up and stuffs Crittenden. And the senior Alex Crittenden having a tough time with this Glacier Peak block, and maybe the Grizzlies are starting to find a little bit of their identity tonight. Sydney Goen into the match to play some defense for Lauren Sanders. Crittenden over the top, dig by Ayat, and a net violation called against the Grizzlies. Alex Crittenden back to serve for the Timberwolves. Maya Watkins got a hold of that one. Not the greatest to pass. Sierra Pratt did a good job of getting a hittable ball up, and Maya Watkins just unloaded on it. Sydney Peterson back into the front row for the Grizzlies. Paisley Johnson at the service line. Glacier Peak cruising here in set number 3 with the big 2-0 lead. Jackson trying to find a way that they can disrupt this Grizzlies offense. Johnson misses the serve. Millie Doppelmayr will serve for the Timberwolves. Sierra Pratt will come. Nope, we're going to get a sub, and Glacier Peak brings in the backup, or the second setter. I don't know that we'll call her a backup. Junior setter Alyssa Zalda to set. Sanders comes back to the front row for Goen, so Zalda will set to the big 3. We're going to just dub them right now, the big 3. That's Sanders, Peterson, and Watkins for Glacier Peak. Zalda sets outside for Watkins, and that's a ball's hit out of play, just a bit long. Last time around, we did a very poor job of pronouncing Alyssa Zalda's name. Got some confirmation before the match this time. We're ready. The S is silent. Now we know. Taylor Eastwood with the serve. That one's just long. Glacier Peak be happy to just side out their way to a 3-set victory here. Maya Watkins at the service line. Horton, overfeed, watch out. Oh, and Sanders just misfires. She pounds it off the tape. Thought somebody was going to get hurt there for a second. Sanders gets a little overexcited, puts that one off the tape, and it bounces out. And Paige Wilson at the service line for the T-Wolves. Zalda right back at Sanders. Off the block, popped up by Sanders. Into the middle now, Peterson just misses. Wilson will continue to serve. Pistol checks out of the match for Crittenden, who comes into the front row now. So Haley Pistol and Paige Wilson getting some playing time here in set 3. Ayat, Zalda, right side for Michael. She misfires. And we'll see Sierra Pratt come back in for the Grizzlies. See if they can regain the rhythm they had before the substitution. Wilson. Michael, tough pass. Nice job by Pratt running it down. Lauren Michael, good job on the block by Haley Nelson. Ball's dug by Eastwood, set by Horton. Nelson again, and that one comes back. Nelson digs it with her head, and Eastwood keeps it alive. Pratt into the middle for Peterson. That ball's pushed up in the air by Wilson, but she can't control it. So Haley Nelson gets a swing. It comes off the block. She digs it with her forehead. Taylor Eastwood somehow ends up chasing that ball down on its way into the bench, puts it back over the net, but it's a point for the Grizzlies. Natalie Ayat with that jump top spin. A little bit of side spin on it that time. That was cool. Outside for Crittenden off the big block. It's Johnson and Sanders now. Teaming up on the senior, Alex Crittenden. Ayat down the line. Wilson can't contain.
And a timeout for the Timberwolves.
Timeout called by the Timberwolves. We're going to take a timeout as well here on STSPN.com. We'll be right back.
I'm the chairman for the Texas Police Chiefs Association Alarm Committee. When we talk about what this definition is and what it means to them and their response for alarms, number one, it lets them truly prioritize the alarms. The alarms that don't come to them fitting that definition as a verified alarm, it will allow them to set those alarms to a priority that they probably give alarms already down there on the bottom of the call stack. But the calls that truly do merit a higher response, those get pushed to the top. Those get the response they need to actually make arrests.
Welcome back inside Jackson High School. 18-12 in set 3. Glacier Peak up 2-0, and they are putting on a show tonight. It's been, for lack of a better term, I know it's cliche, but it's been a block party here. Natalie Ayat from the service line. That's Eastwood, right side for Nelson, picked up by Wilson. Eastwood again outside for Crittenden, gets it over top of Sanders and down, and Alex Crittenden figured out how to get around that one. Nice job from Eastwood to go right side, quick back to the left side. You got to keep that block moving and guessing a little bit. As soon as you become predictable as a setter, it gets very easy for that block to do their job. Lauren Michael, Pratt, right side for Sanders, and that one's hammered down over the block of Doffelmeyer. Lauren Sanders comes back to the back row. She has been dominant on the right pin tonight in both the blocking and hitting categories. Very good evening. She's been good from the service line too. Wilson, Eastwood, right side Nelson off the block and down. Johnson and Michael get that one. Leon, Watkins, perfect pass for Pratt. Up in the middle, there's Johnson with some springs. Doffelmeyer, Ayat, Pratt, Johnson again, this time with the tip. And Paisley Johnson, the senior, a 5'9" middle blocker, standing in stark contrast to the 6'5" Lauren Sanders, but nonetheless having an impact on this match. Great serve from Michael. Leon picks it up. Crittenden pounds it off the block of Johnson and gets the point for the T-Wolves. Jackson's got to play 1 point at a time right now. They got to find something that's going to work. Can't think about the overall result. You just got to play great right now. Paisley Johnson gets that one down. Horton can't quite handle it. Johnson's got some springs. She gets up over top of the block over on that right side. She'll go back to serve. Sydney Peterson will come into the front row for the Grizzlies. Mentioned she's had a good night as well. Been an overall good night so far for the Grizzlies. they'll be working hard to make sure it's just a few minutes from finishing a good night. Doffelmeyer does not keep that in play. Any part of the ball travels over top of any part of the antenna, and it is out of play. Coach Staudinger doesn't like it, but the line judge was on it. Paisley Johnson will continue at the service line for the Grizzlies. Doffelmeyer. That ball goes up and is punched over by Watkins. Pass from Haley Pistol. Oh, what a dig by Paisley Johnson. And Eastwood will not be denied. First one was read beautifully by Johnson. She gets down under it, picks up the aggressive swing. Eastwood didn't have much to do on the second one. Not many options. She just goes up and pushes that ball into a hole, gets a point for the T-Wolves. Number 9 checks into the match. That is Olivia Skeeble. Eastwood looking for Wilson. Rolled over the top. Dig Sanders. Pratt into the middle for Peterson, and Sydney Peterson. When it's there, it's really good. Sierra Pratt and Sydney Peterson, quite a connection there. A lot of power behind that swing. Good timing. A lot of really good things in this match tonight for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Eastwood, Horton out of the back row. She swings over the top. Dig Michael. Pratt outside for Watkins, off the block, and it drops. And that's Eastwood and Dimmelin getting up on that big block for Jackson, putting that ball back to where it came. Hannah Neal will check in for the Timberwolves. And she's going to take the place of the setter Eastwood. And as we see a double sub coming in also for Corinne Leon, Haley Nelson. So it looks like we'll see Hannah Neal set a little bit for the T-Wolves. Sanders, Pratt, back for Sanders. That ball nicks the antenna. Jackson still in this one. There's an inner Yogi Berra quote somewhere there that I just can't translate to volleyball yet. I'll work on it. Lauren Michael. Pratt up in the middle for Peterson. Good dig from Pistol, but just not enough control. She got under it, but couldn't dig it. Too much power from Peterson. The senior Maya Watkins at the service line serving match point for the Glacier Peak Grizzlies here in set number 3. Pistol, Neal, outside, and a misfire from Nelson, and that's what we've got. Glacier Peak rolls here at Jackson. They come on a road and get a much-needed win. Both teams now will have 4-win, 3-loss records. Fantastic match here tonight from the Glacier Peak Grizzlies. Good effort from Jackson, but just a lot of things that Glacier Peak did that they could not come up with an answer for. We'll be back in just a moment here with our Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Match here on STSPN.com. All right, welcome back inside Jackson High School, where all heck is broken loose after the Glacier Peak Grizzlies took down the home team, the Timberwolves, in 3 sets. We're here with our adrenaline fundraising player of the match. Tonight it's number 16, Lauren Sanders, for the Grizzlies. Lauren, big change before the match started, moving you over to the right side, putting that big block in front of their outside hitter. Talk to us a little bit about playing over there. Is that something you've done before?
It's actually not. It's my first time, I think, playing in a match ever. Right side. I really like it. I like, especially when we having blocking against both our middles together is a great weapon for us, and it was a good move for us tonight.
An enormous advantage to have the size and the power that you guys have. Talk to me a little bit about this group of girls and some things that might be starting to click now that you're getting towards that mid-season.
Yeah, well, I think we have talked a lot about passing, and I think that's starting to improve a lot, and that's really opening up our offense. I think our blocking is getting more in sync, as we saw tonight, and that really shut down some hitters, and that opened up a lot for our defense, and we just got more opportunities to swing on the ball. So I think that's what's opening up right now.
Well, fantastic job tonight, Lauren. It was a pleasure to watch. I'm sure we'll see you play many, many more great matches like this. Good luck going into the rest of the season. We'll see you Thursday night at Cascade.
All right,
have a good one. Thanks. That's it for us tonight here from Jackson High School. I'm Matty Bishop. This is STSPN.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll have Glacier Peak again on Thursday night as they visit the Cascade Bruins. Till then, take care, everybody. For Lauren.